Hi, welcome back. He used to be a dishwasher, then he was a window dresser. He even worked in a bakery. Yeah, bakery. Not the other thing we were discussing in the break. But did he ever guess he'd actually end up doing this? Who is the basic Danny La Rue character impersonating? I mean, I don't mean the specials like Shirley Bassey that you do, but who is the basic female character that you can do?
Well, you see, I was weaned on variety, but I loved and read and collected records of the old musical stars.
Mary Lloyd.
The Mary Lloyds,
yeah.
the Florrie Ford, and all those people. And you see, the marvellous thing about it, they had them in churchyards, they had them in pubs, it was the basis of musical comedy, the basis of everything, really. Pantomime and musical, the good old days, is everything. That's where it all comes from. It's like
variety.
musical comedy variety.
Yeah.
The magic thing is, I've been at it for so long now, 41 years in the theatre, and the last couple of years I've been saying to entrepreneurs, you know, in Great Britain there are a third of the population are over 40 and they're being neglected, you know. They don't like ka-chunk music, as I call it.
Radio too.
Not that, you see. No, but what happens is, they said, you're mad, Danny, it's lovely to do you see an odd bit, but we did a 9-week tour earlier this year of Music Hall, and there wasn't a seat available anywhere, Scotland, Wales, England, anywhere, because it's pure basic, not sort of terribly toffee-nosed.
No.
Bit vulgar, some very naughty numbers were written in those days, you know.
Well, what is it then about the British these days, and it seems to, my memory goes back forever, that we really like female impersonators, far more than any other country? It's a cultural thing.
Well, it comes from Shakespeare, and the word drag comes from Shakespeare, dragging of the skirt. I think it's when you don't take yourself serious. Yes, really? Dragging of the skirt. You see, when I walk, when I used to say, what am I?
Yeah.
And I got to rest my mother's soul, I bless her for calling me Dan, because I walked downstairs and say, hello, Madame, how are you, today? It was like that. And I've been around, I'm like a household, like a toilet roller, and I'm sort of around when needed. I'm there. I think, dressers men, if you've been on liners, as I've done, the Queen of if you've been to the big holiday camps, when they have the dressing up, these fellas all love to tear into a frock and the best ankles on.
They do,
but it's done for fun. I remember playing Wakefield when they had the lovely clubs there. And it was the end of the season for the rugby, and I lent 6 of the guys who were like that, some frocks to put on a concert, and I thought, oh, but what it was, they'd come and try on and say, no, I don't like blue, it's not my colour. But laugh at you. See, I've laughed at myself. I remember Gypsy Rose Lee saying to her mother said, you realise, honey, they're all laughing at you. She said, no, because I laugh at me first. I've always laughed at myself first. And I've sort of grown up with the British public. They sort of know me. A strange name for a strange made-up person, a made-up name for a made-up person.
And yet there's the other side to you, which is very spiritual. I mean, you believe quite firmly that your late mother is with you spiritually,
well,
and
I
guides
don't
you.
think that you can have been loved by relatives, by friends, up to the very last minute, and then they suddenly don't exist.
No.
I mean, I have chats. People say, 5 minutes, Mr. Rue, and I said, well, why don't you come in? They said you were talking. What's that? Was my mother saying? I was saying, I was all right tonight, you know, Mary Ann. I think I do believe in that, and I think it's a sort of selfish thing, really, because it helps me enormously.
What about Jack Hanson, who was your manager, who you said you had such a close relationship with?
32 years.
Like a marriage, you said, except without the sex. I mean, it was just a pure relationship.
Great love of friendship. Well, he was my guiding. I called it Professor Higgins and Eliza Doolittle. He took me from nothing and created me as a gentleman of the business. He loved Yorkshireman from Leeds, Jack.
He died, what, 10 years ago?
Yes.
Brain hemorrhage, wasn't it?
Yes, in New Zealand.
No warning, just a sudden?
No, just sudden. Sudden. A vegetarian and all. So when you read about all these things. But he had 62 wonderful years, 62 wonderful years. And I was listening carefully to Joe. Now, last Saturday, locally, I live out of London in Southampton, I went to Open Faith, but it was wonderful because it was a garden of sense, smell and touch for the blind.
Oh, yes.
And it was absolutely wonderful, this feeling and the people. And you feel so ordinary when you see these wonderful people full with more sight than I have. Like a woman said, I saw the pantomime, love, I didn't like the frocks this year. Things like that. To have a humour with that is amazing. Yes. That's what's kept me going, as you know. I've made a quid, I've lost a quid.
You lost 1.9 million, didn't
yes.
you, in some bad...
Well, I know a lot of rich dead people. I'm still there. I'm still there. I started tour on Wednesday, and the nice thing with starting is very funny. I open in Skegness, I do every Wednesday for the whole season.
This is your summer tour, you
yes.
just started, yeah.
And when I was 17, I went to Skegness to join the Navy because the Butlins camp was the depot, HMS Arthur. So when I first played Skegness, I said, it's nice to be back. I said, the last time I came, I was to join the Navy. I said, look what they did, they sent me back in a frock. You see?
Well, that's the Navy for you.
But the thing is, it's not sleazy. It's not... there is an international, there's sort of certain actors, a lot of wonderful people. Roy Barraclough does a wonderful pantomime dame, a wonderful actor. You don't really think about it. I played Hello, Dolly, the only man in the world to play Dolly Levi. I've done films, I've done... But I appear as myself as well,
yeah.
you know, and I think, but they've got used to me.
But yes, what do you think of modern female impersonators?
I don't see them, unfortunately. I'm on the... Lily Savage, I think, is wonderful because it is a sort of Liverpool's answer to Edna.
Yes, but you've been quoted in the past, certainly, saying that you think that some of them quite clearly are women haters, you know, they...
Well, I see, what I have made the point, I can't understand how people go to a lot of trouble, some transsexuals go to a lot of trouble and go to a lot of operations. I think everything's still intact. It was last time I was there. But the dress up and then degrade women, I have fun. But, see, I've been very lucky. Most of the women that I portray are all contemporaries. And I know them all, like Joan Collins and Jackie, and her father gave me my first job, and Joan knows I do a Joan Collins.
Sure.
But she likes it because I don't degrade her. I have fun, naturally. She's the woman everybody loves to hate, but she's, well, you've had her on the boat,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
she's like.
Charming.
But I think it is silly to go to the trouble of dressing up and then degrading women. The whole point of the exercise is gone.
What about the very first time you did it? The very first time you went on stage in a frock? Did you feel nervous? Did you feel that...
Well, the very first time
right
I was in a frock was my Catholic church in Soho Square, St. Patrick's, which I'm still with after all these years. I was a very tiny child and being an altar boy, and they were doing Cinderella, so as I was the smallest, I was Cinderella. Then evacuated in the country as a child in the war. At the town, we did things, pantomimes, but I was just myself. But it was the Navy, it was a cushy number. They said actors wanted for concert party. And my first frock was a sheet, a bed sheet, very inexpensive, it's got a bit dear. And I was playing Tom DeLeo from White Cargo in a play, which was written by Terence Rattigan, written funnily to make it funny.
And did you feel like you sort of come home? Did you feel, that's my message?
Well, no, I didn't. I think you do what you're intended to do. I was in Singapore on my 18th birthday, and Sir John Gielgud saw me there with the show I did with my mates. I just said, I think you're terribly funny. I don't like men who dress up as women, but you made me laugh. You see, you made me laugh. Well, I hope I'm still making them laugh. The nice thing, you see, people say areas. Now, I can go to, I've just played sort of Scotland, and I'll go right down to Devon, and I'll go to Liverpool. I'm in Liverpool in a few weeks, as a matter of fact, at the lovely Empire, which I've played so many times. You have a contact with the public. You see, it's not like being, say, a pop star. You know, I'm not as important as my next record. My records never really sell. But I'm Dan, and I'm there, and I've paid my dues, and I try to give the best I can. Now, this big national, I'm doing the obvious that Danny goes to Hollywood, and it'll be over 40 years of Hollywood with 12 boys and girls and some very good supporting stars. I do 4 for the road. I do music hall. I do La Cage aux Folles.
What you're saying is you've become an institution, and that's that, really.
But it's nice. The public have appreciated me. As I said, they know I've made a quid, but I didn't give in. I was flat broke. I mean, absolutely flat broke. But as the song said, I'd pick myself up, dust myself down, and start all over again.
And you've started the summer tour?
Wednesday.
It starts on Wednesday,
and we go everywhere, all over the country.
Okay, and see local press.
Have frocks,
and your frocks will travel, and you sing them at the end of the show.
Oh, yes, Joe and I, one of my great mates, one of our greatest, and what a talent.
Isn't it?
What an amazing talent. I mean, it's wonderful because you can never get in to see him. He's always booked out. I've got influences. I can go and stand at the back.
Well, listen, we'll see you at the end of the show then.
Thank you very much.
Do you know what you're going to be singing?
Mother
Kelly's Daughter?
Mother Kelly's
Why not?
Doorstep.
Why not? Doorstep job.
No.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. As I say,
Dan
is back later with Joe Longthorne to sing, and don't forget we're auctioning, I can't say that word this morning, auctioning, thank you, auctioning Joe Longthorne's This Is Your Life book, the real thing, to raise money for the Leeds General Infirmary. They're looking for a gene scanner. They're trying to raise money for that. So give us a call with your bid, please, on 051 709 2777. You have to go above 50 because we started it at that. Right, we're taking a break now. Coming next, refreshing summer.